So I feel like I haven't read from this book in a long time. One of my favorite books, "To Bless the Space Between Us" by John O'Donohue. And I read this to my daughter this morning to kind of be an inspiration for going off on a new beginning. So this is called For a New Beginning. And even if there's nothing very specific that you think that you're beginning, I feel like two things. One, this time of year, maybe it's all the ingraining of all the years we were students or parented students, or but just the fall, even though it's in some ways an ending of a season, it's the new beginning of another, and it's on the horizon. I was hiking yesterday in the mountains, and it was chilly. Like a cold wind, a cold breeze, and you could feel the season change a little bit, which was a big refreshment. Um, and then the other thing that I think about with new beginnings is that every breath is a new beginning. That you don't have to have a life event or a life quake or a I don't know, anything like a date on a calendar or a season or anything that tells you that it's a new beginning. You can have a new beginning with every time you take a new breath in. So if you find yourself needing a beginning in some way, a change of attitude or new perspective or a fresh start in some way, the dawn always rises the next day and the breath always comes in the next moment. So there's always an opportunity for a new beginning. All right, so for a new beginning, in the out of the way places of the heart, where your thoughts never think to wander, this beginning has been quietly forming, waiting until you were ready to emerge. For a long time, it has watched your desire, feeling the emptiness growing inside you, noticing how you willed yourself on, still unable to leave what you had outgrown. It watched you play with the seduction of safety and the gray promises that sameness whispered, heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent, and wondered, would you always live like this? Then the delight, when your courage kindled, and out you stepped onto new ground, your eyes young again with energy and dream, a path of plenitude opening before you. Though your destination is not yet clear, you can trust the promise of this opening. Unfurl yourself into the grace of beginning that is at one with your life's desire. Awaken your spirit to adventure. Hold nothing back. Learn to find ease in risk. And soon you will be home in a new rhythm, for your soul senses the world that awaits you. Once again, John O'Donohue. To bless the space between us for a new beginning. All right, so as you close your eyes and find a comfortable seat, um, maybe it's not morning, Ruth. I know it's not morning for you, but for those of us in Colorado, it's morning time. Which often, one of the things I say to my kids all the time is the morning's always wiser. When you're troubled by something in the end of the day, the morning's always wiser. There's a freshness, a new perspective, a new energy that arises with the day. So as you close your eyes, kind of feel into the possibilities of the day unfolding before you. And whatever it is that you need to shift, whatever perspective change or life change, or even simple little things like moving your couch to a different spot, doesn't matter what the change and new beginning is. And see if you can open yourself. So as you feel the alignment of your spine, notice any part of your being that feels open, available, present for possibility. And as you attune to that kind of alertness of invitation, can you also find the ease, a sense of relaxation, an openness that's not on guard, but an openness that is trusting and at ease? So how do you shift your body and your mind right now to create the possibilities for a new beginning? Can you let your breath be a stream, like a mountain stream, that just has this sense of flow? That there's not anything more that could overpower it or block it. That you have a even if there's some trouble along the path, there's always a flow of your breathing. Can you feel within your body that tidal wave of the breath that you have? Perhaps whatever it feels like to you, it might feel like an expansion and a condensement or swell and a fall, or any way you perceive the breath. But just notice its rhythm. And as you attune to this rhythm, recognize it as an opportunity every moment, breath by breath, an opportunity to start anew. You feel ready, bring your hands together at your heart. And let's feel this mudra of our palms together, the sealing of an intention, the centering and focus of an intention that you can place here. And let's find ourselves coming onto our back. So as you stretch out and lengthen, let's be aware and just have a moment of noticing, um, what it feels like to have a sense of ease as you lie down. Sometimes new beginning requires letting go of something, right? That you have to release in order to pick something up new. You can't always have a bunch of things in your hands if you want to pick up something new. So open your palms, open your body, and let your body melt a bit into the grass. Before we do anything else, just feel yourself surrender. What can you let go of? And then reach your arms overhead and enjoy. So stretching one side a little bit longer, stretching the other side. Just enjoy the spaciousness that your body can cultivate here. And as always, work within the boundaries of what your body's available to do today. Things change. It's amazing how quickly one can shift a slight injury or whatever might be a little off in your body today might be different tomorrow. All right, let's go ahead and bring your knees into your chest and rock a little bit and feeling across your sacrum. All right, hang on to your knees and let's roll our knees in one direction, feeling the ease across your sacrum as best as you can. And go the other way, kind of rolling, breathing. Then third direction, opening up your knees, bringing them back in, just feeling that nice sensation of welcoming a stretch across your hip joints. All right, right knee into your chest, left leg long on the ground, and let's do that same kind of rolling movement with our ankles. So wiggle your toes and roll around in your feet, breathing deeply. And let's switch and change sides, left knee and right leg long on the ground, and
feel yourself move here. So some toe wiggles, some ankle rolls, anything that's going to enliven your feet. And then stretch your limbs wide. So reaching your body out into space, wiggling your fingers and toes while you're out there. Feel how expansive you are. And then draw your knees into your chest. Pick up your head if you'd like. And one more time, feeling that open, spacious body reaching and extending, then drawing it on in. Put your head down onto the ground, feet down, arms out to the sides. Let's windshield wiper our knees. And as we do these warm up movements, let them be a homecoming. Where you just kind of take a stop, maybe take roll call of your body here and accounted for. Okay, so you just kind of sense into all your parts. Let's roll all the way to your left side, knees together, palms together. Let's deepen this twist now to open up, stretch across your chest, and then bring your palms back together. So a couple of passes of opening up the book here, turning your head, and exhale and close. Just feeling that beautiful expanse across your chest. And then let's roll to the second side and feel the same. Palms together to begin, and then open up, bring your arm behind you, touch the ground, turn your head. Maybe your arm doesn't touch the ground. That's all good, no matter where the range of motion that you have is. Breathe your way into this. Sometimes your movements can be faster than your breath. Sometimes your movements can be in line with the breath, sometimes even slower than the breath, but make sure you're breathing. And then one more time, spread out like a star. Again, reach into your fingers and toes. And then we're going to slide our right knee and right elbow toward each other and curl the rest of your body over that, rolling onto your side. And then inhale to a star on the ground. Bring your left knee and left elbow toward each other and roll onto your left side. I like to do this not on the yoga mat. Right now I'm doing it on the yoga mat, and it's not nearly as much fun as doing this on a wood floor. So if you have the opportunity in your day today to kind of step off your mat and onto a floor, it doesn't have to be wood. It's something that has a little slickness to it, like a linoleum floor or stone or wood or something that you can slide a little bit more on. It's such a blessing to do that kind of movement. All right, let's roll over to your side and push up onto your hands and your knees. All right, so ground through your four corners of your body. Maybe rock your weight over to the right side so your knee and your hand get a little more weighted, and then over to the left. And just back and forth a little bit, unlocking your hips and your elbows and your shoulders so that the joints above can receive that yielding and that pushing. How's your breath? All right. Ground yourself into four corners of your body and start to move through some cat-cows, arching the spine, rounding the spine, moving as slow or as quick as your body is intuitively wanting to be right now. Usually I have found that when I have a teeny bit of an injury in my body, slowness rules the roost, where I have to kind of be super slow to find where is the boundary. And then other times when things are kind of smooth, going along smoothly, I don't have to have such carefulness around knowing where my endpoints are. So I don't know if that's true for you as well, but depending on what movements you're doing and how your body's feeling, let your pace just be what it is, whatever feels natural to you. All right, let's drop back into child's pose as you settle your hips toward your heels, lengthen through your spine. We're gonna get into some heart opening today. So let's start here by just noticing, a big stretch in the lumbar spine, first of all, just kind of awakening our low back and making sure we kind of check in and see how things are there. A big breath along the full length of your spine. And then begin to pay attention to your side bodies and your shoulders, maybe inching your hands a little bit further forward, just to kind of touch where your boundary of length is right now. And then let's open the lats by stretching to one side. So walk the hands over to the right and let the left side of your body open up. So this is a great stretch for a lot of muscles, but it's, opening up the lats in particular. Feeling a drop down of your hips, a softening of your skull, a deepening of your breath. And then come over to the other side and feel some weight bearing dropping down through your hips, stretch and lengthen through the side of your body. And then come back to center. Come up onto all fours and let's wag our tail like a dog, or feel your spine kind of move like a fish in the water, where we're kind of opening up the paths of our vertebrae side to side. And then start to feel the ground beneath your hands, press down a little bit so you have that grounding. And let's start with moving the hips in a big circle. So put a paintbrush on your tailbone and draw a circle on the wall behind you. So we have a big circle in our pelvis, letting all of the muscles around our hips and our low back open up. Pay particular attention to where your sacrum and your lumbar spine meet, and see what you can do to just loosen, warm, kind of make free that area. Spin your circle the other way. And just notice, this is doing a lot to open up a lot of muscles, your deep low back muscles, your transverse abdominis, your obliques, your hip muscles, your pelvic floor, your abdominal muscles. I mean, so much gets a little bit warm when you do that motion. And then stretch back towards child's pose and take a breath down the length of your spine again. Come back up on all fours. And now let's move that action into our ribs. So put yourself in that tube. So we're dropping the rib cage down toward the ground, over to the side, up toward the sky, over to the other side. And just see how mobile you can get those bouncy, curvy, green, pliable ribs to move. And I would say our ribs are our most flexible bones in our body. I don't know if that's true, but it sure feels like it's true to me. So just sense into how much mobility your rib cage has. It accommodates a breath in and a breath out. Right? Let's go the other way. Great, now curl your toes under and stretch back towards child's pose, but touch your ankles, spread the bottom of your feet. And then come back to neutral. Let's find a twist here. Reaching one arm up to the sky, exhale, and drop that shoulder down. Let your gaze be toward the floor, or at least neutral, so you're not straining your neck to look up. Full breaths here. All right, let's come out of the posture a little bit so that we're facing the ground. So your arm maybe isn't as far underneath you. Collarbones widen. Inhale, reach that arm back up in the air. Hand down onto the ground. Let's switch sides. Arm lifting Exhale, slide that arm underneath, gaze toward the ground. Breathe well. Kind of, sweep out all the nooks and crannies of your lungs here. Let the twist kind of do the work of bringing things out for you. Keep your neck neutral. Come out of the pose a little bit so we're facing the ground. You can drop your hips back toward the heels if you want to, or have them off. Facing the ground, collarbones widen, just stretching that posterior capsule of the shoulder. All right, inhale, reach that arm all the way back up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. Curl your toes under and let's lift to a dog pose. Now you get this beautiful opportunity to open the back line of the body. So let's take some time pedaling your feet. See how good it feels to bend one knee and drop the other heel. And again, kind of present and accounted for, touching all the little nooks and crannies of your body and how nice it feels to become self-aware, to have sensation, strong sensation perhaps. How's your breath? And then enjoy your dog pose. Yield into the ground. Push off. Feel that beautiful length in your body. Let your head kind of feel like it can dissolve a little bit and soften. Notice where your weight bearing is. Do you like to lean into the outer hands and outer feet? Feel that closeness to the midline with your index finger and thumbs and big toe mounds finding the ground. Walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. A deep forward fold. Relax your spine. And feel free to shimmy your hips around if it feels good. Inhale for a halfway lift. Feeling that length. Maybe you want to pedal your feet here and open up the hips just a little bit more. You can pull one hip way back. Pull the other hip way back. You'll get a little stretch in the outer hips here. You can even cross your knee that's bending toward the midline a little bit, so you're turning the pelvis. And then ground into your half lift. Root into the four corners of your feet. Thigh bones up and back. Arches spread. Spine long. And then exhale and melt and soften this. Bend your knees. Let your spine lengthen. Feel that waterfall. Reach back. Grab your head with the heel of your hands and just a gentle tug down and in. And then surrender that. Hands on the blocks again. A halfway lift. Melt to fold. Push off your feet. Coming all the way up. Rising. Bringing the arms to the sky. Feeling that extension. Look up if you want. Lean back if you'd like. Feel that big open heart cactus. Your arms give a good squeeze to that back body. Start to feel the openness across the shoulders here. And while your arms are out there, or your elbows are out there, let's turn your hands down. Okay. And then turn your hands up. So we're just kind of rotating the humerus bones into some internal and external rotation. And you might notice, like, this is much harder for me with my one shoulder than my other. And you might find that to be true too. We're just kind of sweeping across the range of what's available in that humeral head movement here. All right, big reaching up to the sky. Let's grab onto the right wrist with the left hand. Anchor your feet, reach up and over. Back to center. Grab the other wrist up and over. Come back to center. Cactus the arms one more time and then press the hands out to the sides. Spread your palms really wide, fingertips lifting up toward the sky. Do a few circles with your hands here and hopefully feel some of those nerves in your arms opening up some space for themselves, some nerve glides. And then a big reach, arms up one more time, and then exhale and float forward. Relax your head. Inhale for a halfway lift, melt and fold. Step back to dog pose, hands on the ground, feel that length, open up through your legs, maybe some more pedaling. Breathing deeply. Let's come forward into a plank. Stretch your heels away. Engage through your core, shoulders away from the ears. Find that centering of rooting your hands down. All right, we'll put the knees to the ground and find the earth. Let's feel those shoulder blades move again. A few rounds of just rolling them on your ribs. Inhale for a cobra pose, the chest opens. Exhale and melt back down. And let's repeat. And of course, you can change and put a different angle with your hands on the ground if that's better for your body. Enjoy the openness across the front of your abdomen. And then exhale and release. Okay, bring your left knee up high toward your armpit. Let's move the blocks out of the way if they're there. So you have some space and just open up through your hip here. We'll turn this into a twist. Drop the arm over to the side and then spin open. Let the knee leave the floor. Open across your chest. And maybe when the back of your hand touches the ground, you can slide it up and down a little bit, just kind of feeling some of those fibers across your pecs open up. And then take your right hand and place your thumb on the top of your head, palm facing toward the sky, and do the same thing, dropping the elbow and then lifting it up and just getting a little range in the shoulder socket there. And then release that, roll back onto your front and take the other side. Right knee up high toward your armpit. Stretch through your belly here a little bit. And let's cross the arm, left arm over, spin open to the side. Let the knee leave the floor. You can always support with a block if you need. Maybe your hand touches the ground and you can kind of just have a little mini slide of your hand up and down, kind of feeling into those fibers of your pecs. Breathing well. And then bend your elbow. Place your thumb on the top of your head. Palm is facing toward the sky. And just do a little bit of range of motion with your elbow here. Sliding down and sliding. All right, swing that back around. Come back up onto all fours. Move your spine around, wag your tail. And we're gonna shimmy the hip, not shimmy, but sink the hips all the way over to the right side as far as they will go. And you can still kind of keep your balance on the ground. And come back all the way over to the other side as far as they will go. And then come back. Curl your toes under, lift to a dog pose, and feel that beautiful length in your body. Full breaths here. Take a moment to be aware of how your body is breathing. Lift your right leg up in the air and stack it open. Bend your knee if you want, or keep it straight, and just feel that the front of your rib cage, belly, hip, all opening up. And then release that foot down. And let's change sides. Lift your left leg up in the air, stack open. Maybe your knee bends, maybe it doesn't. Feel the stretch across your belly, across your hip, even into your rib cage. And then square things up, place that foot down onto the ground and walk your feet forward.
come to Uttanasana. Come all the way up to stand, reaching the arms to the sky, bringing the body up. Lean back a little bit if it feels good. Let's cactus, open your arms, feel that body, back body, give a squeeze, and then exhale and round your chest, chin to chest, palms together. All right, then find Tadasana. Pause here for a moment, arms at your sides or palms together, your choice. Grounding through your feet. All right, a little teeny bit of balance work. So bring the arms out and let's just rock up onto your toes and back onto your heels. And you can put your arms anywhere else that you want them to be. They don't have to be here. And just feeling your feet coming up onto your toes, back onto your heels. And now when we come to the toes, let's reach, stay on your toes, reach the arms up and feel that full length in your body. And then place your feet down, arms down at your sides. Pause here for a moment. Breathe well. We're going to come into a lunge with our right foot in front. Grab your blocks. All right, so find your way here, starting to invite the hip flexors to open up. All right, let's bend and straighten here for a moment first. So we just feel that nerve glide of the sciatic nerve, perhaps opening up our hamstrings, opening up our hip flexors, feeling our breath guide movement. And then when you're ready, place your knee down onto the ground. I feel the hip flexors open big and wide. Keep your blocks, maybe put them on a little higher height so you can come up a little higher if you'd like. Now maybe your hands come to your knee, maybe they stay on the block, see what feels good. Maybe your left arm rises up. Maybe you have a little bit of an angled posture here where you reach and stretch open. Just feel your psoas open up, your hip flexors, ground your legs. Let's turn this into a twist. Forearm or elbow onto your knee or your hand, twisting open. As you go deep into your lunge, support yourself, press your front foot down. Breathe deeply. Coming back to center, hands back onto the blocks. Bring your front foot back, child's pose. Just settle your hips. Let them soften into neutral. And then we'll come to the other side. Left foot in front, right knee is on the ground. Put your hands on blocks, lift your knee up off the ground. Open up through your spine. Okay. Let's go ahead and bend and straighten the front knee here. So you just feel this beautiful awakening of the hip flexors and hamstrings. Take your time. Maybe you're moving slowly. Maybe you're moving a little more quickly. And follow the pace that your body wants. Some days are fast moving days. Some days are slow moving days. Every day is a breathing day. All right, then let's ground ourselves in our lunge. Place your back knee onto the ground. Start with your hands on the blocks. Rise up. Notice your lumbar spine. Notice, you're deep in hip flexion here in your one side and hip extension in the other. But notice what's supporting that. Press your knee and your foot down into the ground so your pelvis has some support. Maybe your arm reaches up. Maybe both arms reach up. Maybe you lean a little. Just see what feels good. Let's take a twist when you're ready. Forearm on your knee, hand on your knee, elbow to the knee. Breathing deeply. Remember those green stick ribs that move and bend and accommodate. So fill yourself with breath. Empty yourself with breath. Coming back to center. Okay.
Let's bring our hands down onto the ground, back to a dog pose, feeling that long spine again. And then walk your feet forward. When we come up, we're going to take our legs wide for a moment, turn your toes out, come into a deep squat. Open up the inner thighs now. So elbows inside your knees, ground through the four corners of your feet. Breathing deeply. Full breaths here. And then come all the way up to stand. Standing star. Let's do 2 rounds of some goddess movements. So exhaling, dropping your hands down, come down into your goddess position with your legs. Inhale, straightening the legs, arms coming back up. The second one will stay for a moment. So as you come down, notice your legs round into the four corners of your feet. Try to have equal weight. Open up your chest. Feel the heart expand. Spin your feet, so drag your toes toward the wall behind you. Pull your feet toward the wall in front of you and activate a lot of those deep muscles in your hips. Now let's pulse. Let's pulse a few times here. All the way back up to stand. Turn back to the front of your mat, standing in Tadasana. Okay, so hopefully we've kind of opened up all the areas of your body, breathing well. Before we do any other standing poses, we're going to start with a balance pose. So you can put your hand on something if you need it. We're going to stand our weight into our right foot and grab onto your left. And like I said, you can always be holding something, but you can grab your left foot and you can use a strap if you can't reach. All right, so open your quads here. Try not to let your knee go off to the side. Drop it down toward the ground. Descend your your tailbone. Lift your pubic bone so you have that stability of the pelvis. And just open up your quads. Release. And let that one go, and let's switch sides so you can hold on to something if you need it. Keep the knee descending. Try not to lean into the hip. Hug in toward the midline. Descend the tail, lift the pubic bone. Enjoy. Finding your breath. We're going to come back to this for a dancer pose in a bit. Just first, just open up the quad. And then release your foot down onto the ground. Pause in Tadasana. Feel your groundedness. And we'll step back the left foot. Come into crescent lunge. So your heel is up off the ground. If you can manage it, if your balance needs the heel to be down, that's fine too. Inhale, reaching up. We're going to have some mobility here. So lengthen and then cactus. Open your chest and press forward. Rising up on the tide of the breath. Inhale, rising up. Now keep the left arm up. Take the right hand to your hip, to your sacrum, or to the back of your left thigh. And open up here to see what's available. A little bit of a twist, a little bit of a back bend. Keep your neck neutral. Find your breath. Okay, come back up. 2 arms to the sky. Back foot comes forward, hands on blocks. Uttanasana. Reorganize to symmetry. How's your breath? A long spine on your in-breath. Exhale and fold. Bend your knees. Step your other foot back, crescent lunge. Left foot is in front. Heel back, heels off the ground if you can manage it. Inhale, coming on up. Bring the arms to the sky. So ground yourself here. Feel your roots so you have your balance.
Let's start to move when you're ready. Inhale, opening up. And then as you exhale, pressing forward. Rising up on the in-breath. Pressing forward on the out-breath. Next time you come up, stay here. Feel that reach. Let's take our hand. So this time our left hand is going to either come to our hip, to our sacrum, or reach back to the back of your thigh. Okay, so stay in your lunge. Reach up with that right arm. Find the twist that's here. Hug to the midline with your legs. Press your front foot down. Try not to sink into your lumbar spine. Breathing deeply. Open across your shoulders. Okay, come back up. 2 arms to the sky. This time we'll take a dog pose. So bring your hands down to the ground. You can always come to child's pose instead if you prefer. You can always just come onto all fours. There's always choices. Breathing deeply. All right, come forward into a plank. Hold yourself here. Find that integration of the center. Put your knees on the ground and find the ground. Palms facing the ground. Draw your elbows a little further down, closer to your hips. Maybe your elbows are close to your side ribs. And we're going to inhale to lift up from here. Shoulder blades down. Feel the back body. Press your legs into the ground. Neck is long. Exhale. Melt. Put your hands underneath your head and pick up your feet. Windshield wiper your knees. We're going to repeat that, but you get a choice. You always get a choice. But for now, choose whether you want your elbows down, kind of close to what we just did, or whether you'd rather have your hands more cactused. Okay, so see what feels good. Stabilize your pelvis. Tailbone descends. Round your legs. Inhale. Lift on up. Keep the neck long. Keep breathing. A little rocking as you breathe. Shoulder blades down. Feel your back work for this pose. Exhale and release. Come up onto all fours. Swish your spine like a fish in the water. You can come up to a dog pose if you'd like, or you can just bring your right foot in front. Back heel down onto the ground. Root your feet. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Beautiful back bend lives in this pose. Try interlacing your fingers, index fingers pointing straight up. Let the grabbing of your fingers help you to lift your ribs off your hips. Root into the feet, extend upward, maybe a little bit of a lean back. See what feels good. Stabilize your core. Engage your glutes. Press your front heel down. Feel the strength of your back leg. And then release your hands. Bring your hands onto the blocks. Half splits. Lengthen up. Feel your glutes turning on, working here. Come up onto your toes, onto those right toes. And then descend your heel and place your left foot down. A halfway lift. Melt to fold, step your right foot back, ground your heel. Virabhadrasana 1, you can always take your left foot out to the left more if you need some stability. When we come into this pose, interlace your fingers the other way. Reach those index fingers up. See if you can ground your feet. Both heels moving deeply, the whole foot moving deeply. Your glutes are active in this pose, supporting you. Your whole back leg is supporting you. Feel the reach off of your pelvis. Full breaths. And then release the hands. Hands on blocks. Come to a half split. Squaring the hips here.
Engage both sides of your glutes. And then let's lift up onto your toes. Keep lifting that hip. Find your breath. Heel down. Slowly bring your foot down too. You can put your toes together, or you can put a block between your knees, whatever feels good. Chair pose. Start with your hands on your thighs. Press down. Ground yourself. Put your roots into your heels. And then inhale if it's comfy. Find those arms. Feel the work of the back body. Let's cactus like we did on the ground. Either elbows closer to ribs or arms out to the side. Integrate the floating ribs into the body. Drop a little deeper. Feel your back. Feel your glutes. Breathing deep. Then inhale up onto your toes, reaching the arms to the sky, heels down, arms down at your sides. Ground yourself, feel your roots for a moment, take a breath. You can always use a wall or a piece of furniture to hold on to, or dancer pose. We're gonna reach back and grab your heel. Right arm, standing on your right leg, hold your left. Use a strap if you can't reach your ankle. Reach that right arm up in the air. Feel your breath. When you're ready, start to kick forward. Unlock your standing knee. It's not a contest of who can go lower toward the ground. Just be in the presence of your body, trying to balance here. Lengthen. Reach into your spine and hand. And then slowly find your way back up. Bring your knee up to your chest. Hold on if you need to. And then release your foot down. Before we do the second side, just stand in Tadasana and enjoy your 2 feet. This deep sense of grounding. Let your shoulders relax. Find your way back into the ease of breath. When you feel ready, there's no rush to be ready. Grab onto your right foot with your right hand. Keep the left hip hugging in. Unlock your left knee. Reach your left arm up in the air. Integrate your floating ribs. Find your way into dancer pose. As you tip forward, keep your neck relaxed. Unlock your standing knee. Use your hip, so many muscles, your glutes, your hamstrings, your hip muscles, also your core, also your pelvic floor, also not your neck. When you feel ready, there's no rush. Come back up, bring your knee to your chest, give it a hug, and place that foot down onto the ground. Turn sideways on your mat, wide legs. Come to rest in Pasrita. So you can put your hands on blocks or the ground, but let your head release toward the floor. Get close to the ground. This is a nice feeling after balance poses to know the ground is really close by and we have a broad base upon it. All right, let's turn back to the front of your mat for a dog pose. And let's come down onto your knees. And we're gonna come onto your back. Have a block handy. Root into the 4 corners of your feet. We're gonna do 2 bridges, 1 active, and then we're gonna do a passive bridge. Okay, so you can either choose no block or maybe a block between your thighs, whatever feels right to you. As we root the 4 corners of our feet and rise up, rock, be very mindful to rock onto the tops of your shoulders. Maybe your hands interlace, mine don't. I don't know that I'll ever be able to do that again, but I don't really mind that. So I can get my shoulders open just by rooting my arms into the ground. If your arms are down, palms face up. So you're externally rotating the heads and the arm bones. Open across your ribs, your chest, your belly. Ground the four corners of your feet. Pull your heels toward your shoulders. And then push your heels away from your shoulders. Feel that you can have all this muscle action, not just in the strengthening of the whole back line, but of your quads and inner thighs and outer hips helping. And then release and let that go. Down to the ground. Take a breath. Let's windshield wiper our knees left and right. All right, so as you find your way into a more passive version, and of course, if you're like, no, I want to do another active, then by all means do another active bridge. Remember the block is across your sacrum, low height, middle height, or stack 2 blocks. So we want a broadness of the block under our whole pelvis, not just the sacrum. Once you find a good spot to be here, just enjoy being here. Let your breath be so full. It's such a great pose to breathe in. Your diaphragm has all this open space. Your ribs have a lot of mobility. Let your head be melty and resting. Keep the base of your skull at ease. The arms are relaxing. Feet are staying grounded. More than anything else, just focus on how your breath can be in this pose. Pelvis come down to the ground. Find that neutral place. And let's do a twist. Hips over to the right, knees up, drop left. Again, finding that big breath. Remembering that every breath is a new beginning. Every breath is an opportunity to shift your mind, to come into harmony with present moment awareness. Coming back to center, hips go to the left, knees drop up and over to the right. Back to center. Reverse pigeon pose. Maybe you put your foot on a wall, right foot on left knee, left foot on wall. Maybe you grab and reach with your hands around your left hamstring. So your choice of how you move into this posture. Breathing deeply. Let's find the second side when you're ready. Right foot on the wall, reach with your hands to grab your right leg, whatever feels good. Left foot on right knee. find your way into any variation of Shavasana that your body's calling for. Could be a Supta Baddha Konasana, could be lying flat, could be your legs up a wall or on a couch, could be anything at all. Once you have your body in a position where you're very relaxed and comfortable, make sure you take a moment to, again, feel that surrender. So when we start something new, we need to usually let go of something old. So what can you surrender into the ground? What tension pattern are you ready to release? What thought pattern are you ready to release? Feel the support of gravity. Feel the support of the earth. Breath. Start to bring any movement into your body that helps you in the transition. Eventually finding your way to your side. And as you come up to a comfortable seat, just take a moment to pay attention and notice. Let your belly breathe well, your ribs breathe well. Together. Let's offer the gifts of our practice to another. Namaste. Thanks, everyone.